Hello, everyone, and welcome to Deckbuilding Derezzed. I am your host, Code Marvelous, and today I am joined by recent Philly Regionals winner, Justin Hulse. Go ahead and say hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, man. I'm so excited that you got to be on the show because we're going to talk about a very interesting Kate deck. But before we do that, why don't you tell me a little bit about your Netrunner journey? Tell me when you started playing, what kind of you're really all about in the game, and what led you to this deck. We'll go through it one piece at a time. So talk to me about how you started getting into Netrunner.
I actually got into it when the core set came out from my friend who used to live around here and he moved out. He's actually the co-host on the Breaking News podcast, Scott.
Okay.
So he got me into the game. He like knew I used to play Magic and pitched it as like it's from the same guy that did Magic and it's cyberpunk and it's awesome. You should play it.
Right.
So I played back in the day. I tried to play MBN Glacier and I hated playing Runner until Creation and Control came out and Self-Modifying Code and Component Chip came out.
It's a really good card. Somebody could name like an entire YouTube channel after one of those cards.
I wonder who could do that.
Yeah, I wonder who could do that. But yeah. No.
But basically that expansion came out and I could finally play Runner the way I want, where I get to just run and it's like there's a problem, I can deal with it. I'm not going to get blindsided by anything, and that's why I'm a Shaper main forever.
I mean, I'm a Shaper main forever. So nowadays anyway, since they killed my boy Noise, I hit him, beat him up in the alley, but we're not here to talk about that.
I've been meaning to retry Noise with Chopbot instead of Aesop, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. I'll let you know.
So talk to me a little bit about what was kind of the core mindset process behind building this deck.
Basically, we're going into regional seasons. I know there's moons. I know there's some new CI decks, and I know that like Sync Boom is popular again. But really, I just don't know the meta at all.
Right.
So I go into it and I'm just like, I want to play a deck I enjoy because all I want is the mat. I want the top 8 mat. So if I play a deck I can enjoy and pilot it well, I can get the mat.
Right.
So when Terminal Directive came out, the casual deck I made to play on the games on the side while Terminal Directive was a thing, was an Adept Savant Degradier deck, which I know I'm not pronouncing that right. I don't think anyone knows how to pronounce that card.
No. I was struggling to pronounce it on the stream the entire time that you were playing.
Yeah, so I just made a deck with those cards, and I'm like, this feels nice. This feels really cool. And so I'm like trying, I'm like, I'll play Andy Desperado. It feels good, but I'm not a criminal player. And I try to play Chameleons, which is the deck I'm probably the most known for. And it's like, this is terrible, this meta. Does not set up fast enough.
Yeah.
And like Moons breaks indexing lock, which is really bad. So I'm trying to think of like, well, if index doesn't work, what does? Deep data mining. So I just try to make a deck that's like, what is good against moons and can use deep data mining. And this is kind of where I ended up, because I'm used to playing these Rube Goldberg Shaper decks that just have these engines that are just like, why are you playing these cards? And they just feel natural to me.
Yeah.
So I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, this is less of a Rube Goldberg, I would say.
I mean, the Breaker Suite is up to a 6-card combo.
Yeah. But,
so I'll say it's a little Rube Goldberg.
Yeah, but let's dig into it a little bit. So let's talk about, where do you want to start? Should we just start with the Breaker Suite?
I guess let's start with what the deck does first. Like,
okay.
Why I even started. Basically, this was me going into Philly and trying to make a deck against the meta that I could play, which is like, I think I'm going to play mostly against Moons and Sync. What is going to be good against both these decks? So I made a deck that can break ice really easily without money, and a deck that has some tools against acid. And this is where I ended up.
All right, so let's talk about kind of the core engine here. So your Breaker Suite is, shall we say, somewhat unconventional. We have 3 Deus Ex.
Yeah, it's good. It has a big number 10 in the corner, which is the only reason you're playing it.
It's got some really good number. It's got a really good number in that bottom left corner. And then we have Savant, which is the Terminal Directive Shaper double duty breaker.
It's a very good breaker that I think everyone glosses over the fact that it says 2 credits, 2 Code Gate subroutines.
Yeah.
No one seems to remember it can do that, and it goes from atrocious to really good against Fairchild 3 on its own.
Right. And it costs 2 memory, but we mitigate that in this deck with another underrated terminal directive card.
I'm gonna say Deggdeer. Like that's kind of just how I
Deggdeer.
settle.
I think it's Deggdeer.
I kind of just silent DHs and just hope I'm right. And if not, I could just be like, I'm American. It's like it's Katie, not Cody. I don't care. I'll say what I want.
All right.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the combo here, since it might not be readily apparent to people watching.
Okay, so basically, you have these 3 programs, and there's also Astrolabe, since you got to talk about the MU package as a whole.
Right.
Their basic idea is it's Deus Ex, whether it takes up memory or doesn't. It's matchup dependent if it really matters, with an adjusted matrix on it.
Right.
So you have this 10 strength AI breaker, which works with clicks. And then the Savant is your tech slot breaker against a couple pieces of ice. Notably, it's against Turing and Swordsman, since it's your only way to break them.
Right.
And then it's also against Fairchild 3 early, since it's real easy to do that. And it's also good against some other weird stuff you're going to see, like, I don't know, Architects. Or just some other weird, like Archangel, if you set it up right. It'll break that really efficiently. So
Right.
Savant's kind of like your glue for the anti-AI hate, and then it's just Deus Ex adjusted matrix the other way. But your goal is you look at your matchup and figure what ice do I have to be really concerned with as far as the Savant goes.
Right.
And then if it matters, that's when you have to install the Deggdeer first.
Oh, did we lose the deck? Hang on. Hang on. There we go. All right.
Okay. So if you have an Astrolabe out, it's 5 memory.
Right.
Deus Ex without Deggdeer, which I do most of the time.
So right. It still doesn't. Right. It doesn't impact deep data mining at all because you still have the 4 open MU.
Right. But if you install a Savant after that without Deggdeer, you only have 2 available memory, hurts your deep data mining, and puts Savant at 3 strength.
Right.
So you want the Deggdeer first. It'll keep Savant at 0 memory, and then you have Savant at 5. Hits Turing, hits Swordsman, hits Fairchild 3. That's your basic rig goal.
Okay.
You want the Deus Ex also on a Deggdeer against Jinteki, so Savant can hit DNA Tracker.
Nice. Nice. All right. So where do you want to go to next?
I guess the win condition of the deck, which that'd be in events. It's deep data mining. What a card!
It's a pretty good card, I hear.
It's a pretty good card.
Oh,
so
hang on, real quick. Apparently, it's Deggdeer, like DEG, and then the second part is pronounced dare, like I dare you. So it's Deggdeer.
Okay. All right, fantastic.
Yep.
All right, that works for me. Yeah. So really, that was me going into this deck as my win condition, because especially in this meta moving forward, you look at a lot of Moons lists, they're not running a lot of Chrysium Grid, if any.
Right.
So, like, they're going to draw all the cards. They're going to score their stuff from hand. So you need to keep them out of it from R&D. And if you can see 5 cards, even if you entirely whiff, you have 2 turns of setup now.
Right. You know you've got some time.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got pretty standard draw an econ package. We got 3 diesel. We got 3 dirty laundry.
Pretty much.
And then we have a hostage. So talk to me about the inclusion of hostage in here.
So when I was testing the deck, I had 2 influence left over. Like all the other influence, I don't think it's flexible. But this hostage is. And then when I was testing it, it was a lucky find.
Okay.
I think you could do employee strike if you like employee strike. I think you could do legwork if you like legwork. Or like stim hack or whatever weird normal tech card. It's just I noticed if I was playing its moons, I would draw to the first Aeneas informant, and I want the second one immediately to give me Mopus economy.
Okay.
So that's what I was doing, is find one, hostage the second, and when I draw the third, it's awesome.
Nice. Okay, so we have 1 indexing.
Just to punish if you leave R&D open.
Okay,
It's
that's fair.
it's your fourth, but it costs 0 compared to D3 minus 3.
Right. And we have a single interdiction. I imagine this is for that which vexes this deck, which is like Marcus Batty.
More for Caprice than Marcus Batty. I noticed a lot of people aren't really on Marcus Batty in my limited testing I was playing, but like because you have to do adjusted matrix and spend clicks for a run, you can't take multiple shots for side games.
Right.
So having that is good, but it also lets you like, oh, they overdrew a Jackson. Let me interdiction and Mad Dash Archives, and like stuff like that. Because really, the whole point of this deck is to blitz points early, so you can lock the remote later.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. And that's the same reason why my smoke has a single interdiction, is when people overdraw with Jackson, I'm like, surprise! Let me go
Yeah.
get those agendas.
Well, it's like even like for example at Philly during the Swiss, I played against a food cards deck, and they had a remote with the Caprice and the Ash and a Breaker Bay Grid. It doesn't cost you money, but they didn't pre-res it because no one thinks about interdiction. They think
Right.
about like political operative, which is a fair way to think about it, but it makes interdiction really good. And it also clears like ELP or whatever.
Right.
So
Yeah. We have a singleton Mad Dash. I imagine it pairs really well with the indexing.
with the indexing, more so with the interdiction if you make a remote play. Like,
Right.
that's kind of the way I go. It's also kind of a little like this deck, admittedly, is terrible against CI7. So that's kind of like let's if I have to, I'll Hail Mary HQ one time and hope, and maybe it's good. You never know. Like I fully admit this deck is just not good against CI, but I went into Philly knowing maybe a couple people would play, and not even all of them played it.
Yeah. I blind mad dashed into a government takeover one time.
That's literally the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. The person quit without saying
It,
good game, but you know,
it's hard to argue against these really good utility events like indexing or Mad Dash that
There-
cost 0. They
there's a
don't cost
lot
anything.
of really good zero cost utility events for Shaper decks right now,
Oh yeah.
or just low cost events. Right? It's very interesting because for the longest time you'd see. I mean, obviously not talking about prepaid Kate days, but like for a long time you've been seeing a lot of Shaper decks that didn't run a lot of events really. And then now a lot of the high value event combos are in Shaper.
I mean, it really kind of depends on how you played, because I always played a lot of events, like more than you think I would play in a Kate deck. It's just because it's like between neutral events and Shaper stuff, like indexing, Maker's Eye, all these draw events, all the money cards, like events are actually really good, maybe more so than people realize.
Yeah. So we have a single modded, one of my favorite pieces of art in the game.
Um, Good card. Adjusted Matrix costs 5. Your breakers cost more than 3 across the board. So it's kind of one of those, if you draw it and you're not fully set up yet, it's great. Otherwise, it's like burn your Kate ability and get a Sports Hopper for free. Or
Yeah.
Deus Ex for free.
Seems good.
Yeah. It's one of those, if you draw it, great. If not, whatever.
And then we have 3 Sure Gambles for the same reason Sure Gambles are in all decks.
Yeah.
So we have 3 Adjusted Matrix, which is the thing that really makes the deck go. And for those of you who aren't super familiar with it, it's a 5-cost piece of hardware. It's a mod. So it goes on an icebreaker, it turns it into an AI, and it says you can spend a click to break subroutines during encounters with a piece of ice. But when this was initially spoiled, it didn't get a lot of press, because whatever you put it on, you still needed to pump. Unless, of course, that breaker starts with 10 strength.
That's the whole point of Deus Ex. Deus Ex does give you a little extra just in case Jinteki prevention, because it's not unique against all multiples. But yeah, Adjusted Matrix is a sweet card, and I think it got, especially even in that pack, because it was a release with dedicated processor, so I think it got very little attention. But it's a really good card, even if you just turn it into a Shaper, let's build a David.
Or let's build a more efficient Adam.
Adam's cool. Don't do that to him.
I love Adam, but this card is literally one of the best parts of playing. But anyway, so we got 2 Astrolabe, which is just really good in a Moon's meta. Like it's so good.
Yeah, just real quick, because since we went over the Adjusted Matrix and the programs, just to go over the quantities of each.
Sure.
That is something that I've gotten quite asked about. I'm running 3 Matrix, 3 Deus Ex, and 2 Savants, because Going into it, I assumed I would not see a lot of Hunter Seeker or Baddie into Destroyer combos. I'm running more consistency to draw them faster instead of Satcons to keep it on the board.
Right.
So these numbers are very easily changeable if you'd rather have safety, but I'm not a person that values safety.
So we have two Astrolabe. Astrolabe's a really good card.
It's a really good card.
Yeah, we have two E3 feedback implants, which I think is the second thing that really makes the deck go.
Yeah, because if you spend one click with the adjusted matrix combo and then a couple dollars, I don't know, let's say for Fairchild 3, $2 and a click, pretty good. But other than that, this card especially got better after the Most Wanted list got updated and Eli got taken off. Because a click and a dollar through the best barrier in the game,
it's pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
Yep. And we got two Sports Hopper, I imagine mostly for acceleration.
Mostly to not die to boom.
Really?
Yeah, because it's kind of like I could run Plascrete or I could run a thing that's not dead in a Moons matchup, so I ran Sports Hopper.
Right. That's fair. So we have our... Oh, right. They still don't have the image up. We have the 3 of Aeneas in format, which is the card that says when you access a card with a trash cost not in archives and do not trash it, you may reveal it and gain $1. So talk to me about the combo here between this and deep data mining.
Well, basically, that card, you see anything with a trash cost, and it's not unique. So let's say you have 2 on the board, and you deep data mine. You're playing against Moons. You see 3 things that are trashable, like Maryland campaigns or advanced assembly lines or whatever. Every one you see, you just go, I'll reveal this, and I'll take my money. And I'll reveal this, and I'll take my money. So when you're playing against Moons, this will pay for the R&D run if you hit like 3 trashable things. And it's also really good against like a food coach that has a Breaker Bay and a Adonis and a remote. I'll let them have $12 if I can have $4 or $6 a click.
Right.
Like, I don't care. Or like you put a Chrysium grid on R&D. That means I can run R&D, check 1 card, and get some money back until I feel like killing the Chrysium for a deep data mining. There's just a lot of interesting stuff with that card that I think a lot of people undervalue how good it is. And with it being 1 influence, I'm really surprised no one's experimented with it. Not even in Andromeda with Desperado.
I've been after your performance, because I was on kind of an experimentation hiatus. After your performance, I put Aeneas in my like good stuff Andy build with medium, and it just becomes bonkers because I'm getting like complete refunds. Or if I Temujin like a daily business show, I'm gaining $8, like $7 to $8 on each run.
Oh, this card in Temujin is ridiculous.
Dumb as hell.
Yeah, it's dumb as hell. That's a good way of putting it. But even like, I know you're a big smoke player. If you got a Networker dollar and like a Desperado, if you're playing Desperado smoke and those, like that's a Nikon engine in itself too. Like, there's just a lot of things that I could value from it, and it being 1 influence, that's just, you really hate Moons or this other asset spam stuff, try slotting it in and see if it fits your playstyle. Because the moment you get 1 on the board, you check every remote Moons installs, and they can't sneak agendas anymore.
Right. And you're getting full value.
Yeah, it's basically like taking a click for $1, so it's not like you're losing anything.
Right. So we have Beth, pretty good. Extra clicks is really good in this deck.
Especially in this deck, but it's kind of, I wish I could fit more. I just couldn't figure a way to do it, but you do have the hostage to get it. I'd value hostaging for it in CI and Moons if you have 2 Aeneas installed.
We have 3 daily casts, really good.
Yeah, really good.
Really good. Got my girl on there.
Yeah. She's a fun ID. I played with her.
I didn't want you to. We got Film Critic. Film Critic's pretty good too.
Important right now for a couple kind of decks that I'm worried about, notably Hunter Seeker, which is a big problem for this deck. Another reason why I was excited about fitting Hostage in.
Yeah. And then we have 2 Temujin contracts.
Only 2, because you can't fit 3, and I get more money from the informants than a Temujin in most games.
That's something I might experiment with. Maybe I'll put a Aeneas informant in my smoke deck, but slots are so snug is the problem. But that's a discussion for another time.
Really, it was just like I'm expecting a lot of moons, and then in actual playtesting before the regionals, I hit a lot of like a Garen. So it's just Anissa part was doing way more work than a single Temujin would.
True. All right. Well, this is the deck, and it's certainly interesting, and it's got a lot of solid pieces to it. Let's take it for a spin and see how we do. But before we do that, Justin, I want to say thank you for coming on the channel.
Man, no problem. Glad to get my decks more known. Anyone who knows me knows I just love spreading my garbage ideas.
And would you mind letting everybody know where they can find you online?
Yeah, sure. So if you're on Slack, my name is Baram, aka Saetzero. On Reddit, I'm on Reddit all the time. That's Saetzero. I stream on twitch.tv/Saetzero. And then other than that, it's just kind of reach me on one of those and I'll find you. I haven't streamed as much as I used to, but I might get back into it after regional season. I gotta like see if there's stuff I'm really excited about playing.
Right. All right. Well, thank you very much. And everybody watching at home, we will see you in the test run. And until we see you there, always be ready.